All right. I think we're heading on live. We should be good. Good to see everyone. Another Tuesday, going to be diving in to recap some of the performances across the past weekend and NCAAs and the pros. Lot of crazy performances. We're also going to do a little preview of the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. So, a lot that we want to be able to talk about today, and I want to be able to just cover. But yeah, excited to jump into a couple results for today. We may not take as long, but let's get started in a minute. So a couple people jump in. Excited to again jump in and talk about some of these results from the past weekend. I think it's going to be, we're heating up. 2024 is really, really heating up, both on the NCAA side as well as the professional side. Yeah, it's getting big. And this coming weekend, NCAA championships. I'm sorry, my bad. Not the NCAA championships. New Balance Indoor Grand Prix is going to be going down this weekend. I'm so caught up in so many different NCAA results that went down, and we're going to start off with the NCAA first. But yeah, huge. Couple things we want to be able to jump into, but appreciate all y'all jumping in. As a few more people jump in, we're gonna get started. Yeah, we're definitely gonna be talking about JaMeesia Ford. She's cooking. She is cooking, and she has a lot more to go. Only a freshman. Listen, she's gonna be a problem this year. So, all right, let's dive in and get started. And we're actually going to start off a little different. Let's see if we could start off with Brianna Lyston. So we're going to talk about, again, some of these NCAA results. Let's dive in and talk about some of these amazing NCAA results. But let's start off first with Brianna Lyston from Jamaica. Now, she really like threw down this past weekend. Brianna Lyston, 7.07 seconds to get not only, one of the NCAA lead, right? NCAA lead at 7.07 for Brianna Lyston. Of course, she competes for Jamaica. That's also number 4 all time in the NCAA. Let me bring up the women's 60-meter dash indoors. This is number 4 all time. Brianna Lyston, 7.07 seconds. Now, there's a lot of times ahead of her. I mean, we saw Julian Alfred absolutely obliterate the NCAA list last year, but if we're talking about Brianna Lyston, 7.07 seconds, that's not too far off the number 2 time, right? Again, Julian Alfred kind of put herself way out there, but Brianna Lyston is really moving. Number 4 in the NCAA all time. That also makes her the 7th fastest Jamaican indoors all time as well. I'm going to bring up the women's indoor marks in the 60-meter dash. Brianna Lyston moved up to number 7 all time in Jamaican history when we're talking about indoors. That makes her a serious threat. Now, I do have to caveat, because of the way that World Athletics kind of changed their things, right? They moved to short track instead of indoor track, so they don't have a differentiation. So you're going to see some marks here that are outdoors, right? So for example, we saw Tina Clayton. She ran, actually Tina Clayton and Sasha Lee Forbes. They both ran 7.02 as well as 7.03, but that was outdoors, right? You could see that this one doesn't have the I. That one has an I. This doesn't have the I. So if you were to kind of add all them up, 7.07, Brianna Lyston, if you take away the couple marks that are outdoors, that makes her one of the fastest Jamaicans of all time, the 7th fastest Jamaican of all time in the 60-meter dash indoors. This is a huge performance for her, and I think really indicates that she is going to be a problem, not only in the NCAA, but also outdoors when we're talking about conversations for the Jamaican outdoor team. Brianna Lyston is going to make the Olympic team in the 100-meter dash or the 200-meter dash. I don't know if I'm ready to say that because of how deep Jamaica is in general when we're talking about the sprints overall. But Brianna Lyston, if we're talking about her still being 19 years old, she could sneak her way onto the Jamaican team in the 4x1, right? Very strong shot to do so. She, I think, dealt with some injuries last year during certain parts of the season, but listen, she is moving already. Just increased that personal best, 7.07 seconds. She is on pace to do some very special things. And again, only 19 years old. She's still only 19 years old, turning 20 later this spring. Brianna Lyston, shout out to, all she's done and, the progress that she's been making. But let's dive in quickly to a couple others. So let's talk about JaMeesia Ford. Now, JaMeesia Ford has really been blowing up the NCAA indoor season so far in only the past couple of weeks that, really things have been getting going, right? First off, JaMeesia Ford already she's been able to hit amazing marks in the 300 as well as the 200, and specifically the 200 this weekend, 22.58 seconds. Really, really strong performance for JaMeesia Ford in this 200. I think that's like the top 25 all time when we're talking about the NCAA indoors. She's already number 2 all time in the 300. Remember, she ran 35.83. So JaMeesia Ford is really on another level, and she is still a freshman. She is still a freshman. Let me just bring up the all-time list in terms of for 2024. She's, of course, leading the world, but Amber Anning is right behind her. But I'm going to talk about Amber Anning in a second. But JaMeesia Ford, she is really dominating this, this progress, this freshman season that she's been having, right? Again, 300 meters, already one of the best in history. 200 meters, 22.58, bringing her up the ranks in terms of all time. Again, that makes her about number 24, 25 all time indoors in the NCAA. She also has strong chops at the 400, right? She's run 51.60. I think that makes her number 2 in the NCAA right now. So she's really, really stepping things up. Actually, number 5 right now. Yeah, a couple people passed her this past weekend, but JaMeesia Ford is a problem. Like Hurdle God, you said, right? JaMeesia Ford is your teammate. That's her biggest flex. Listen, it's good to know JaMeesia Ford right now. If you have money on JaMeesia Ford, listen, she is really going to have an amazing NCAA, not only season, but then also career overall. One of the big things I also like is that if you remember NCAAs, it's going to be going down at the track at New Balance in Boston. JaMeesia Ford already ran the 400 meters there, so she's gotten a feel for the track, relative to some of the other top names who haven't gotten a feel for the environment, for the track and all that. But listen, JaMeesia Ford is coming out very, very strong. She has the opportunity to kind of dabble in the, pick whichever event she might do. She might double at the SEC championships, likely. She also might double at NCAAs, depending on how she progresses. But I think we could very likely see JaMeesia Ford run, I don't know, 22 low indoors, maybe 22.2, maybe even faster indoors. In the 400, she definitely can get to sub 51 seconds as well. So she's really kind of a double threat and someone who's, definitely someone to look out for. And then when we get to outdoors, who knows what she's going to be able to do, but she's a freshman, only a freshman, and already hitting some amazing times right now. So huge shout outs to JaMeesia Ford and all that she's been able to do. Looking forward to seeing what she's going to be able to really throw down. But let's kind of stick with that 400 meters that I was talking about a little bit. And let's dive into Amber Anning. Now, Amber Anning, she competes for Arkansas and she represents Great Britain. She threw down this past weekend. Amber Anning in the 400, 50.56 seconds. Now, 50.56 seconds, not only is that a personal best for her, that's actually a personal best even faster than her outdoor personal best. I think I don't even think she's broken 51 seconds outdoors. So for her to run 50.56 indoors and double that up with a 22.60, only losing to JaMeesia Ford, Amber Anning is making some huge waves. Additionally, that 50.56, if we look at the all-time list for the women in the 400-meter dash, that makes her now number 10 all-time. Yep, Amber Anning, number 10 all-time in the 400-meter dash, 50.56. So she is moving up the ranks, right? She's really moving up the ranks, getting her footing, already a senior, but for her to be diving into that 50.56 range, listen, she can get to sub 50 if we're not careful. Remember, she ran with Britton Wilson last year, and she still trains with Britton Wilson, right? Britton Wilson, Shamir Little, they all kind of train at the in the same group. So Amber Anning is going to be a problem. And yeah, really looking forward to that, right? Hopefully Amber can finally carry her indoor speed outdoors. Yeah, it's really interesting that her outdoor personal best, she's only run, I think, 51 seconds outdoors. Yeah, 51.8. 51.2. Oh, this was indoors, 51.2. So it's interesting that she's done very well indoors, but hasn't been able to translate that outdoors when we're talking about the 400-meter dash. I think between the 22.60 as well as the 50.56, that's definitely going to carry through outdoors. And I think she saw what Britton Wilson did last year, and she was like, oh, I need to step things up, right? Even though Britton Wilson isn't in the NCAA anymore, Rashida Adeleke, they're not in the NCAA anymore, but I think Amber Anning realizes not only is this my final season in Arkansas, but I want to make sure I leave a mark, right? I want to make sure I can get to sub 50 seconds, maybe indoors, but definitely outdoors. So we're going to see how she kind of plays out. And also didn't even note that for Amber Anning, that's number 3 all time for the UK indoors. Let me take a look at the UK indoor marks. So she's really, really, gone up the ranks when we're talking about let's see, Great Britain. Yep. So Amber Anning, yeah, number 3 all-time indoors for Great Britain. She's really making up some big, big ground here. This is an amazing performance. And in the 200, she ran 22.6. I think that's the British indoor national record as well. So 22.60. So Amber Anning, double threat. I think this speed is really going to translate outdoors when we're talking about the 400, get her into, I don't know, sub 49.5 range, maybe, if she does really well. So we'll see what happens with Amber Anning representing Great Britain. She's probably likely already on the, UK team, considering her, the speed that she's run and all that. So we're going to see what really goes down with that. Gonna jump back real quick. Yeah. Never heard of JaMeesia Ford. Yeah. They hyped Shanti Jackson so much and Madison. Yep. They don't remember that I don't remember anyone else. Yeah, it's a good point, right? Shanti Jackson definitely deserves all the hype, right? She was low-key killing it during her high school career. Of course, she's now at Arkansas, but JaMeesia Ford has really, really been making waves, and she's only a freshman. So I don't blame you for, not knowing her coming out of high school. I wasn't too familiar with her myself either. So for JaMeesia Ford to, be stepping things up, number 2 all time in the NCAA history in the 300, already one of the best moving up the 200 meter ranks. I don't blame you. All I know is that I'm just learning about her right now, and I think we're all learning and seeing, the talent that she has. So huge shout out to her. Yeah, no worries, Shanti. Shanti Jackson. No worries. Yeah, all good. Top of the comments, yeah. If you recall correctly, she wasn't selected last season by UK Athletics because she couldn't make the standard outdoors. Yeah, Amber Anning. That's actually interesting. I feel like I saw her when I was in Budapest. I don't know if I saw her running on the 4x4. I know she definitely didn't run the individual 400, but I know for a fact she might have been in Budapest running the 4x4. Let me double check last year. But that's kind of disappointing that, oh yeah, interesting. So, she finished 4th outdoors. That's probably this is at UK trials. So Amber Anning, she finished 4th outdoors. And then when we got to she did run the 4x4. So she got the bronze medal in the 4x4 in Budapest, getting 3rd place, but she didn't run as part of just the individual team. I think it goes to your point where you said like maybe her 400 meter personal best. I mean, outdoors, she's only run 51 seconds outdoors. And I think that might be her personal best in the 400. Outdoors is, this is the problem. This is the problem with, with World Athletics. They're saying that because of the whole short track situation, 50.56, which she just ran this past weekend, they don't differentiate between indoors and outdoors if your 400 meter best indoors is better. So I don't know what she's run outdoors, but we'll see kind of the progress that she's made. Yeah, who knows? We'll see the kind of the progress that she's made, and if she's going to be selected for the the 400 meter team. If she's already running 50.6 indoors, I think she can definitely get down there. So we're going to see what happens with Amber Anning. Last person I did want to talk about just a little bit was William Jones. So William Jones on the men's side in the 400 meter dash, he really, really threw down 45.24 seconds for William Jones in the 400 meter dash indoors. He already ran 45.90 earlier, just last week, but doubled back 45.24 seconds, not only an NCAA lead, but I also think that makes him the top 25 all time. I think that's number 23 all time, if I'm correct. Yep. William Jones, number 23 all time indoors in the 400 meter dash. So he's really stepping things up. I mean, if you're talking about him already running, let me bring back William Jones. Yeah, he's already running 45.2 indoors at this point in the season. I mean, he's very likely on track for sub 45 seconds. Now, I don't know if he's going to be able to get to, what last year, I think Elijah Godwin got the win in 44.8 seconds at NCAAs. He also ran the same time at SECs. I think William Jones can maybe get into that realm, right? If you're talking about all-time marks, though, sub 44 seconds is still a very, very exclusive club. Let me just bring up the all-time marks for the 400 meters, and apologies about the sirens. I always say that every single week, but if we're talking about sub 45 seconds indoors, that's still only a select few people. Only 12 men in history have ever gone or 13 men, sub 45 seconds indoors. So that's a very, very, very select club that, listen, um, I I think we're gonna have some real good competition if we're able to see William Jones really make a wave to go out indoors and run 45 sub 45 seconds. If he's running 45.2, already on pace for that, and I think he's gonna make some huge waves. And USC, their 4x4 is moving. Shout out to Coronado, who I met a couple weeks ago at the HBCU showcase. Norfolk State in the 4x4, they're gonna drop fast. Listen, don't sleep on them for sure. Definitely gonna look out for them. But also, I definitely need to shout out the men's 4x4 from USC. They have a lot of strong guys in the 4x4. Just to kind of quickly highlight, again, apologies for the sirens, but just kind of quickly highlight the 4x4s, right? Florida, they've already run 304. Arkansas has run 304 as well. Nothing too crazy, but USC is down there. They're definitely going to step up. UCLA is one to look out for as well. So we're going to see a lot of teams dipping into the 4x4, and yeah, they're going to be making some big waves. But just wanted to give a shout out to William Jones from USC, 45.24, one of the fastest early season times that we've seen in a long time. And listen, on pace for sub 45 seconds, definitely in my opinion this year. So we're going to see what happens with William Jones. But so overall, those were some of the NCAA results that I wanted to highlight. There's definitely a couple more across the board, but those were kind of the main ones I did want to talk about. But let's dive into a couple of these pro results. Now, there's a couple, really, really good results. But let me dive into some of these chat. Yeah. 51.62 for Amber Erning outdoors. Yeah, which makes no sense. It's literally over a second slower than she's run indoors at this point, right? 50.56 indoors and then 50.62 outdoors. I mean, it's crazy. So that personal best should be gone by like April once they start outdoors. Yeah. So someone tell me JaMeesia goes to what school? I'm looking on a site and it says University of Alabama. No, JaMeesia Ford goes to South Carolina. So JaMeesia Ford attends South Carolina. Let me pull it up here. JaMeesia Ford, she's a freshman at the University of South Carolina. So, and I could, let me see if I could pull up her profile real quick. South Carolina. And again, she's still just a freshman, really dominating. I mean, again, for a freshman at South Carolina, she is dominating. Right? She is already dominating. So doesn't even have a bio yet because she's still a freshman. But yep, huge, amazing performances that she's been putting down. Jack Britt High School. She's going to be a problem as we kind of go through the year. So shout out to JaMeesia Ford. Absolutely. So let's dive in and talk about some of these pro results. And if there's any NCAA results that I wanted to highlight or that I might have missed, definitely let me know. But let's talk about some of these pro results and some of the things that we've been seeing across the board. First off, real quick, let's talk about Leaky Claver, still in the 400 meters. She actually put down the world lead in the 400 already. She ran 50.54 seconds, actually just yesterday, or might have been this today. I don't know. But yeah, 50. Oh yeah, it was today at the Ostrava content indoor meet. So 50.54 seconds indoors. This is an amazing performance for her, considering her personal best is actually indoors is 50.34 seconds. And that was during the that world record run that Femke Bol had indoors. So Leaky Claver, of course, she trains with Femke Bol. She's been literally in her shadow right behind her all these years. But Leaky Claver is stepping things up big time. Already starting off with 50.54 seconds. That's her second best indoor time ever. Again, only behind her personal best. And if you want to put things into context, if she's already starting off at 50.54, very close to her personal best this early in the season, I think she's going to be going very, very fast. Again, she trains with Femke Bol, so we could very likely see Leaky Claver. Let me change that name that I have here, but we can very likely see Leaky Claver run sub 50 seconds indoors. We already know that both her and Femke Bol are going to be running World Indoor Championships. They already committed to it, so we can really see some big things, going down for Leaky Claver indoors. And then on top of that, let's not forget that last year, Leaky Claver placed sixth place in the World Championships in the 400-meter dash. She had an amazing season where, again, she finished sixth place in the 400 meters. And then she also ran a personal best of 49.81 seconds in the season. So this performance indoors at 50.54 really bodes well for what she's going to be able to do outdoors. Of course, she may do well indoors, win a medal at the World Indoor Championships, but when we're talking about the Olympic Games outdoors, Lieke Klaver is already, likely on the team, right? We're talking about she competes for Netherlands. They have a strong contingent of ladies, right? They got a medal. Actually, they won gold in the 4x4, but in terms of the depth of 400-meter runners, Lieke Klaver is clearly on the top. So she's on the Olympic team likely. But on top of that, if she's already run 49.8 last year, considering the personal best that she had over previous years, I think that she's really, really going to be making some huge, huge waves considering this, right? Really, really making some huge waves. So yeah, let's kind of see how she plays out. Let's kind of see how she plays out, how things play out for Lieke Klaver. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see. I'm really, really excited to see. Yeah, they both committed, both Femke Bol and Lieke Klaver. They already said that they're both going to be running World Indoor Championships. I'm kind of mixed on it to a degree. I mean, listen, they've done well. Femke Bol specifically, right? She's done well to run World Indoors every single year, or at least indoor seasons every single year, and then translated it outdoors. But I know some people would say skip indoors and focus on outdoors, especially if Femke Bol is going to be targeting the, Sydney McLaughlin-Roney in the 400-meter hurdles, right? She has to have all the preparation and, rest and all that necessary. But I'm all for running indoors if you're able to manage, the training, the preparation, and all that. So, excellent thoughts. Gonna come back. I actually spoke about Brianna Lyston. Let me come back to that in a second. Let me finish up with the pros. But yeah, spoke about Brianna Lyston. I really, really like Brianna Lyston. But let's come back to that in 1 second. Definitely gonna get back to that. But just to finish up on Lieke Klaver, yeah. So chances I think that Femke breaks her indoor record at the championships. Well, that's going to be very, very tough. I know that she has, let me double check, and her indoor record is 49.26 seconds, if I'm correct. Let me just bring this one up. So yeah, 49.2 seconds for Femke Bol. I think in terms of her potentially breaking that indoor record, man, I don't know. I would say it's pretty high shot. If we're talking about last year, Femke Bol, she really, really progressed. She really progressed outdoors, right? She made some huge waves in terms of running sub 52 seconds outdoors in the 400-meter hurdles. She, of course, improved her personal best in the 400. She got down to the world record indoors. I think if we're considering, my bad. Just wanted to close the door. But yeah, I think if we're considering the world record indoors, this is going to be very, very tough. I know that the conditions for her to break that world record indoors last year were really set up perfectly, right? She did it in the Netherlands, right? She had Lieke Klaver. Yeah, she had Lieke Klaver right behind her, kind of like pushing her along that pace. But 49.26 is very, very tough. If we're saying that she's going to break the world record, we're essentially saying that she has a potential to run 48 seconds indoors. I mean, that is tough. And yeah, like you said, like the record will be tough to break. She struggled to run 49.2 outdoors, so I'm going with a no. I mean, the only thing I'll say about outdoors to indoors is maybe like her focus and attention, right? She ran this indoors at, in February, right? That was her only focus. There was no World Indoor Championships last year. It was like a targeted record attempt. But then if you kind of compare to what Femke Bol has done in the 400 outdoors, at least last year, I don't think, let's double check here, but I don't think she ran the 400 meters. Yeah, she didn't run it like towards the later half of the season. So for example, when Femke Bol was running, 51.7 and 51.9 and all that, right? In August, imagine she had run a 400-meter dash at that same time period. I think she would have been probably at 49 mid to low. I think she could have run 49.2. In my opinion, I think she could have run 49.2 outdoors, maybe sub 49 seconds. Again, if we're thinking about her focusing on the 400, just like she did the 400-meter hurdles, I think she could have been sub 49 seconds outdoors. But indoors is a different ball game, man. I mean, indoors is a whole different ball game. Like, I know she's run 49.2, but that was a targeted record attempt. It's crazy. And one thing I will say is that Femke Bol probably wants the gold medal indoors at the World Championship and World Indoor Championships, and may not be focusing too much on time. That's what I possibly think, but who knows? We'll see how things kind of play out with her. But yeah, world record. I think there's a chance, but I'll say like a 50. I'll give you a better. I'll go 60% chance that Femke Bol breaks the world record indoors in the 400-meter dash. I'll say 60% chance, and yeah, we'll see. We'll kind of see how that plays out. I think she's opening up this next weekend, so we'll see what kind of plays out with that. But yeah, that's Liquid Claver. Huge shout out to her and what she was able to do. Yeah, really want to see. I really want to know the lineup of the ability to run the 400 and the 400-meter hurdles in the Olympics, because Femke could do them both along with Sydney. Yeah, so the Olympic schedule for the 400 and 400-meter hurdles, it really is too tight. So it's really like impossible to kind of it's not going to work. It's not possible this year. I think that last year, if Sydney McLaughlin-Ravoni had won the 400 at the World Championships, I personally think she would have lobbied for the schedule to be changed so that she could double at the Olympics, right? So this is what happened with Michael Johnson in 1996. So he had to win the World Championships in both the 400 and the 200 to say, okay, change the Olympic schedule so I can do the double at the Olympics. So they had to do that. Same thing with Allyson Felix. I think it was 2016. She wanted to do the 400, 200 double, and she had to prove that she could be competitive at the 400 before she can change the schedule. She won the 2015 World Championships, got the schedule changed for 2016. Unfortunately, Felix didn't make the, she didn't make the team in the 200, but regardless, if Sydney McLaughlin would have won the 400 last year, she would have had a better case to make the schedule change, but it's going to be too tight for both of them. And I think I actually spoke with Femke Bol at the World Championships last year, and I asked her, do you plan to run the 400, at the Olympics? And she said she has no plans to. She only wants to focus on the 400-meter hurdle. So maybe one day, maybe at Europeans, and one day she'll definitely, like she's done in the past, she may do it again. But yeah, and Britain, same thing. The only thing I'll say that Britain has PTSD. I mean, listen, the only thing about Britain Wilson is that she has to take a no. He's joking. No. I think he means like PTSD in the sense that like Sydney McLaughlin beat her at USA's, and then she got injured from attempting the double at NCAA's and all that stuff. So she has to like kind of make a comeback. I think Britain Wilson is probably going to focus on one event this year. Don't know if it's going to be the 400. Don't know if it's going to be the 400-meter hurdles. We'll see which one she chooses. I think it might be the 400-meter hurdles. Let's not forget that Britain Wilson actually finished 5th place at the 2022 World Championships at the World 400-meter hurdle. So we'll see if she actually doubles up and what she's going to be able to do. I think she's only going to run the 400-meter hurdles, but she could do the 400. We'll see what actually happens. Yeah, AJT, Femke said she'll never double again. I spoke to her and she said she doesn't even have an intention of actually doing the 400. She loves the hurdles. She really loves the hurdles. So she doesn't want to do the 400 at Olympics or World Championships. She wants to focus on those hurdles. Again, maybe she'll double at like Europeans, one day, but who knows? At least Olympics, she's not doubling. And also regarding the world and the record, I'd rather she saves her best form for the Olympics. Listen, that's what I was kind of saying. And I know that people have that opinion as well. I mean, rest up for the Olympics. And especially if you're going up against Sydney McLaughlin-Ravoni in those hurdles, you're going to need all the rest you need. But the only difference is that Femke Bol, she's run full indoor seasons every single year. Every single year she runs full indoor seasons. 2023, all the way up to European Indoor Championships. 2022, let's not forget, she actually went to the World Indoor Championships and got silver in the 400 meters behind Shauna Miller-Weibo. And then even in 2021, she ran indoors as well, right? She ran a full indoor season, European indoors. So the thing about Femke Bol is she's been able to translate both indoors and outdoors and balance them both. So I'm not too worried about her. The only worry that I would have is if she's not managing injury properly, right? She just has to make sure she stays healthy, or that's it. Because once Sydney McLaughlin-Ravoni steps on the track, like there's probably very few things that Femke Bol could do to be able to do some damage there. But we'll see. We'll see what actually plays out. A couple other comments, and then we're just going to go on to a few other pro results and then some predictions for New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. Sydney versus Femke Bol in the 400-meter hurdles this year. Do you think Sydney can come out on top after not running the hurdles last year? Absolutely. At the end of the day, Sydney has run 50.68 seconds. As much as take into consideration the fact that she hasn't run, as much as I take into consideration the fact that Femke Bol has improved drastically, I still think that Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is the favorite for the 400-meter hurdles. And right now is, she's the favorite. She's a clear gold medal favorite. Don't forget that last year, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone opened, or not last year, 2022, she opened up her season running 51.6. So she's already, or I'm sorry, 51.4, something like that. She's already on a different level. So Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, I think she's, still the one to beat, but Femke is, I think Femke can run like 50.9, 50.8 maybe, but we'll see, what kind of plays out. All right, before I move on, I did just want to highlight what you said about I think I said before, Brianna Lyston, just to highlight. Yeah, Brianna Lyston, like I said, I think she has a strong potential. I spoke about her a little bit earlier. She runs 7.07 seconds, which is the 7th fastest Jamaican time indoors in the 60-meter dash, and also the 4th fastest time in the NCAA history. So she has a strong potential. I don't think she's going to make an individual team for Jamaica going to the Olympics, but I do think that she has a potential to get onto the relay team, the 4x1. So we'll see what happens with Brianna Lyston. All right. So, yeah, speaking of, let's talk about Iwa Swoboda. So the 60 meters should be good. Alfred, Swoboda, Hobbs, Doso, Van der Winken. Yeah, a lot of women. Let's actually talk about Iwa Swoboda and what she did over the past couple of days, right? So Iwa Swoboda, she managed to come out in the 60-meter dash and really throw down world lead of 7.04 seconds. Huge caveat here. Yes, Sasha Lee Forbes, she's run 7.03. But if you notice, that was outdoors. There's no eye next to the venue, so that means that it was outdoors. You can see that there was wind, so I'm not counting this as a world lead. Just to be clear, right? We also saw Akeem Blake run outdoors. I'm not counting those as world leads in the 60-meter dash. Those are outdoors. I'm not counting them. So Iwa Swoboda, my opinion, she has the world lead in the 60-meter dash, 7.04 seconds. But in addition to that, if you look at the all-time marks, Swoboda has run 7.04. She also ran 7.07, and she ran 7.08. So Swoboda has really, really stepped things up indoors. And I think that this is going to bode well for her going to the World Indoor Championships. Now, she's going to have a lot of competition. And additionally, if you remember back in 2022, before the World Indoor Championships, Iwa Swoboda, she was dominating 7.04, 7 flat, 6.99. But then she got to World Indoors and only, quote unquote, only ran 7.04 to finish 4th place. So I don't want to see this as her replicating what happened in 2022. I would love to see her make the podium after running so consistently well early this season so far. But it's going to be tough. Is she going to be able to maintain that? And then on top of that, is she going to be able to maintain as we go outdoors, right? Just last year, she finally broke 11 seconds in the 100-meter dash. She actually made the final at the World Championships and broke 11 seconds on 2 occasions, but she only finished 6th. Now, these indoor performances really have to translate outdoors, or people aren't going to be able to, it's not going to resonate with, everybody all around. Of course, her name is buzzing. Of course, so everybody knows Iwa Swoboda at this point, but is it going to be able to compete with Sharika Jackson, Shakira Richardson, Elaine Thompson-Herah, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, Julian Alfred, right? Aaliyah Hobbs. Is she going to be able to compete with them when we're talking about outdoors? Indoors is one part, outdoors is a second. But I do love to see 7.04. Looks like she's on pace to run sub-7 once again, potentially get a medal at the World Indoor Championship. So really excited to see how that kind of plays out. And then, also shout out to Zainab Doso, right? She actually... Doso from Italy, 7.09 seconds. This is 7.05 seconds. 7.05 seconds on top of her 7.09. So she really stepped things up and is a relative newcomer in terms of like the global scene, right? But just wanted to give her a good shout out. I think she's been significantly improving. Yeah, previous best was 7.14. And I think she's run on a couple 4x1s when we're talking about internationally, but she hasn't competed individually at the World Championships yet, I think, or at least not made a final. So she's competed individually at the World Championships. Apologies, but Yeah, Doso has really made some huge strides, no pun intended, and I think she's gonna, be doing some great things. But we'll see how these things kind of play out. But yeah, to highlight Julian Alfred, I don't know if she's going to run world indoors, but she's going to be a problem. But then you also have Aaliyah Hobbs, right? Aaliyah Hobbs has already run what 6.94 seconds indoors last year, and she's already started off faster than she was last year at this point. Or huge performance, and we're gonna talk about her in a second with the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. And then you have Vander Weekend, who's run 7.09. Who knows what's going to happen indoors? Brianna Williams, I think, is going to run this weekend as well in Boston. So there's a lot of women to look out for. Dean Asher Smith may be running. Who knows? So we're going to see how the women's 60-meter dash really plays out. I don't know if Julian Alfred is running the World Indoor Championships. I'm going to be at the Milrose game, so maybe I'll get a chance to ask her there. But hopefully she does. If not, I'm not complaining. Listen, outdoors, Julian Alfred has a chance to win a medal. So we'll see, if she actually runs all throughout the indoor season. And Julian Alfred is coming off a very long NCAA career. In my opinion, I'd probably go a little bit slow as you lead into, your pro career and, focus on the Olympics, right? She has a good shot to get on the podium. Okay, you said it was in her plans. Good. That'll be good. So we'll see how things plan up. And yes, please do hit the like button. Right, really appreciate y'all. I make sure you hit the like so more people can get the stream. I'm hopefully going to be doing a lot more with these streams as on a weekly basis, and especially as I go to meets. So we'll talk about New Balance Indoor Grand Prix in a second. So, and outdoors count now. Yeah, got to talk about outdoors. 7.0 won't cut it outdoors. Listen, you could run. I mean, like I said, Iwa Sobota, she ran her personal best is 6.99 seconds in the 60-meter dash, but she only got sixth place outdoors. And outdoors last year at the World Champs, she got sixth place running 10.97 seconds. So it's not like she ran quote unquote slow. For this era, it was slow, but you have to run much faster. You have to be running 6.95. I mean, I don't know, 6.9 something, unless you have insane top speed, right? Unless you're, like a Sharika Jackson or, Sha'Carri, right? One of those people who has that speed endurance, that top speed in the 100-meter dash. But if you're one of these explosive athletes in the who's better at the 60 meters, you have to be running 6.9 something shorter, right? You got to be fast. Even who was it? Mujinga Kumbunji, right? She ran 6.97 or 6.96 indoors last year in 2022 to win the world indoor gold, but she couldn't translate it outdoors, right? She couldn't translate it to a medal outdoors. So 60 meters, you got to really step things up. So we're going to see, but yes, I agree. It should be very interesting. So let's see how that kind of plays out. Other one I did want to talk about in terms of the women was actually Tobi Amisan. So Tobi Amisan, who we'll also talk about in a moment, as she's going to be running in Boston, but she did throw down an amazing performance in the hurdles of 7.77 seconds. So we already spoke about Devin Charlton last week, but Tobi Amisan, this is her season opener, 7.77 seconds. Why is this important? Well, personal best for her indoors. It also broke the African record. And the African record in the event was 7.82 seconds from all the way back in 19. This is not accurate. All right. The African record prior to Tobi Amisan. Oh, this is 2024. Apologies. All-time African record, 7.82 seconds in the 60-meter hurdles by Gloria Aloze. She really threw things down. Let me make sure I can get this right, but I think I'm on point. Yes, Gloria Aloze, 7.82 seconds from back in 1999. Tobi Amisan, in her first opening race, broke that African record, sub 7.8 seconds. That puts you in huge contention as one of the best in history indoors. Challenging. I don't know if she's going to run world indoors, but listen, this puts her in a good spot, especially coming off last year when she was dealing with all the ban and all that stuff, then ended up running at world championships, all that stuff. But Tobi Amisan, I'm really excited to see how she kind of plays out. Again, she's going to be running in Boston this weekend, so we'll talk about that in a moment to do some previews of the meet. But huge shout outs to Tobi Amisan. Last mark that I did want to talk about, I don't know if anybody saw this, but this, and I'm not sure I saw many kind of results or I don't know, I didn't see too many people talking about this, but in the men's 60-meter dash, it's a guy from Cuba. This is Africa. Let me bring up the world. This guy from Cuba, Jens Ronaldo Fernandez, 6.48 seconds. 6.48 seconds for Fernandez from Cuba. Now, I'll say a couple things. Now, let me bring up, he's actually run a couple times 6.48. He's run 6.49, I think, as well. I'm not familiar with this guy, but 6.48 seconds. He also ran 6.49. He also has 6.52, 6.53 all this year. I mean, this is a big performance for Cuba. This is a national record, and I think all time in the 60-meter dash is like number 33 or so, one of the top 35 or so in the 60-meter dash. Before this, his previous best was like 6.66 seconds. Yeah, he'd only run it last year. So it's kind of surprising. Again, I'm not really familiar with this guy. I'm not too familiar with him. I'm just learning about him now. So listen, I don't know what this means in terms of if he's going to be able to translate this as we go through the indoor season. Is he going to run world indoors? As we know with some Cuban athletes, do they even have visas to be able to compete, at these championships, all these kinds of things. So who knows, but it was kind of interesting just to see the result come up for this guy. Someone I had not heard of, only 23 years old. So huge performance for him. We'll see how this kind of pans out indoors the rest of the season. But interesting call out. I did see you said that 6.49 was a flash time and it got corrected. Interesting. So Suche. So that might be somebody else that who actually ran that. So interesting. Could be interesting, but yeah, we're gonna see how this kind of plans out. But yeah, it was interesting to at least see this result, from this guy going on. But yeah, so those are the pro results. So I'm going to talk about New Balance Indoor Grand Prix in a second. But before that, let me just get to a couple other comments. And I'd love to hear predictions for some of these New Balance Indoor Grand Prix races. Just going back to Toby Amisan, right? Good note. So regarding Kambunji, right? She had plantar fasciitis. That's why she didn't do so well outdoors. That's a good point. I forgot that 2022 she did really well outdoors. 2023 she got injured. That's a good point. Completely forgot. Yeah, Amusan, she looked great in that race. She's back for sure. Listen, Toby Amusan, we cannot forget that she was the world record holder. She is the world record holder, gold medalist from 2022. She was actually low-key, you could argue she was a gold medal favorite last year, entering the world championships before she had to sit out for that ban, for the whole confusion around the testing thing. So, and then she made it to the final, right? Last minute, she got entered into the world championships and she still made it to the final and finished as one of the top, in the world. So, Toby Amasan is really, really, on the move. I think she's going to have make some big waves this year. Really, really big waves this year. And yeah, 777 is competitive. Minimum to win 772 to 775. I agree. We might see sub 7.70. I think we might see that. I think we might see a woman run 7.69 or maybe even attack the world record. Who knows? But we'll see how those things kind of pan out. So excellent observation. All right. So let's go ahead and quickly talk about this New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. So I want to do some just previewing the Indoor Grand Prix, see what's kind of going on with the meet this weekend. As I've been noting, I'm going to be in Boston this weekend to do some coverage for the meet. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and follow Sidious Mag on YouTube, on Instagram, on Threads, on Twitter, on all the different platforms. I'm going to be doing some coverage for them, so definitely look out for a lot of things there. But listen, New Balance Indoor Grand Prix is stacked. This is probably the first big professional meet of the year, outside of some of them that have already gone down in Europe. But when we're talking about depth of fields, this is the meet so far. So let's talk about a couple of these fields. And then, yeah, let me know what you all think about some of these fields. But first off, men's 60-meter dash, New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. I mean, you could see the names. This is stacked, right? Ronnie Baker, Akeem Blake, Brandon Cards, Dement Kemp. Kemp just won the 60 meters in Kazakhstan at that indoor tour. Fred Curley, right? Noah Lyles. Shout out to Miles Lewis. He actually trains in New York City, which is where I'm at. Josephus Lyles, Hakeem Sani Brown, JT Smith, Kendall Williams. This is a stacked field. Now, what are some of the implications here? Well, Noah Lyles, last year, he won the race over Trayvon Bamel, running 6'4". So we know that he has the chops to be able to do well in the 60-meter dash. But if you're talking about Fred Kerley has never run the 60-meter dash yet. So who knows what kind of progress and what kind of time he's going to be able to put down. I don't think Fred Kerley is going to put down like a 6'4". I don't think that's going to happen in his first 60-meter dash race ever. But I do think he could run like 6'5" low. I mean, I think that's a good kind of opener, not only season opener, but also 60-meter dash opener. I think Fred Kerley has 6'5" potential, maybe 6'5" 2-ish. While Noah Lyles, we just saw Noah Lyles open up his 60-meter dash season this year already. I think he ran 6'6'3", if I'm correct. Let me see. Oh, interesting. Maybe it didn't come up yet, but I know that Noah Lyles ran about 6.63 seconds already. So he's already opening up on a pretty positive note. I think Noah Lyles will probably take the win here, but we'll see. You also have Akeem Blake. Again, Akeem Blake, what did he run this year already? He ran 6.49 with 1.2 wind. So put that into perspective of like what he actually ran. Though, yes, Akeem Blake did look good, right? Akeem Blake did look good in his race. But I mean, listen, I don't want to take an outdoor performance and translate that indoors just yet, especially if we're talking about he ran with a 1.2 tailwind. Who knows? But we'll see. But Akeem Blake, he looks good. We'll see what actually happens. Demet Kemp, he won the 60 meters at the Kazakhstan, World Indoor Tour Gold. Noah Lyles, he's looking good. I think Noah Lyles will probably take the win just off the motivation, just off the, that mental state, right? There's a point where, many people are able to kind of shift the momentum in their way, when someone else is in a race, but we'll see. Also, don't sleep on Hakeem Sani Brown, right? If you remember, Hakeem Sani Brown trains with Trayvon Bamel, with Andre DeGrasse, with Marcel Jacobs. He's in that group with Raina Ryder, so he might be a problem as well. Ronnie Baker, it'll be interesting to see how Ronnie Baker kind of plays out. He's been up and down, unfortunately, these past couple years, dealing with some injuries. But take a look back to 2021, the Olympic season, dominating. Even before that, 2018, dominating. So Ronnie Baker is definitely a sleeper here amongst all the other guys. Shout out to all the other guys in this field in the 60-meter dash. Yeah, really looking forward to seeing what they did. Yeah, so last year, Akeem Blake ran 6.42 with less wind last season. He could very likely get to 6'4" indoors. Yeah, he definitely can. He definitely can. One thing that I'll say with Akeem Blake is, and this is probably a conversation for later, but he needs to really step things up. If we're looking at the landscape of Jamaican sprinting, sure, let's say he runs 6'4" indoors. Let's even say he runs faster. Who knows? He can run something fast indoors. He needs to step things up outdoors because you have such a depth of 100-meter sprinters in Jamaica. So he better translate a lot of what he's doing indoors, outdoors, to be able to A, make the team, right? Let's not forget that Akeem Blake didn't make the 100 team last year. And then B, make the Olympic final, if that's the goal, of course, and then challenge some of the other guys. Akeem Blake, this is going to be telling. This indoor season is going to be really telling for Akeem Blake. So we'll see how it kind of plays out here. Shame to see Bromell having to sit out one after last year. Yeah, man. I mean, that was disappointing. That Bromell lost to Lyles. I mean, it was disappointing in the sense that, you never want to see someone like Bromell lose a race. Noah Lyles definitely deserved to win. Bromell deserved to win. I'm always rooting for everybody. But I think it was disappointing because he got injured outdoors. I think Bromell sitting out, especially the whole indoor season, might be a good move, only so that he focuses on the outdoor season. So we'll see what happens with Bromell. And yeah, so Casey, is it one race or is it multiple rounds? Multiple rounds. So you have the 60-meter dash heats. Where's that? So yeah, you have the 60-meter dash heats here. Sorry about that. 60-meter dash heats, so 2 different heats, and then you're going into the final later on that night. So 2 different rounds. So it's going to be exciting, just like last year. All right, so let's quickly talk about some of the other races. We have the women's 60-meter dash. Same thing, going to have 2 heats. There's going to be a stacked race. Aaliyah Hobbs is the name to watch here. Aaliyah Hobbs, American record holder, number 2 all-time indoors in a 60-meter dash, 6.94 seconds, if I'm correct, right? So she is going to be a problem. She's already started off her season. What she runs, 7.0. 5 seconds, right? Indoors already. So she's going to be a serious problem. Already run 7.05, which is her fastest opener ever, especially for this time of year. So really looking forward to seeing what Aaliyah Hobbs does. But this field is stacked. Let's not sleep on this women's 60-meter dash right now. Celera Barnes, she's a very, very strong contender. At least a strong, 60-meter runner. Makai Briscoe. Let's not sleep on the fact that Makai Briscoe is the defending indoor silver medalist from 2022, right? Don't sleep on Makai Briscoe. She's a very strong, very strong in this field. Tamara Clark. People also sleep on Tamara Clark. I'm not watching too much for what Tamara Clark does indoors, but I want to see how that translates outdoors. Don't forget that Tamara Clark made the World Championship team in 2022 in Eugene. Don't forget that she finished 6th place at the World Championships in the final, only behind a couple people, right? Behind Sharika Jackson, behind Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, Dina Asher-Smith, Aminatu Saini, and then Abby Steiner. Tamara Clark was only behind those women. She also has run sub 22 seconds outdoors multiple times. So Tamara Clark is a force to be reckoned with, and I think indoors is really going to translate well for her. Zoe Hobbs from New Zealand, she's been making some noise over the past couple of years. Kira Parker, she's a very strong runner. Shannon Ray, Brianna Shelby, Destiny Smith Barnett. She's a really strong competitor. Really love to see her run. And then Brianna Williams from Jamaica. Brianna is stepping things up. I think she's run outdoors already, right? 7-11 outdoors, which is decent with a little wind. Brianna, I think her personal best is 7.04 seconds indoors. She got 5th place at the World Championships in 2022 in the 60-meter dash. So Brianna Williams, another one from Jamaica who really has to step things up and see if she could, get back on the team individually. I don't know if she can, but we'll see. She's one to really look out for, but really looking forward to seeing what Brianna Williams and the rest of these women can do. But Aaliyah Hobbs, keep your eye on Aaliyah Hobbs. If she runs sub 7 at these New Balance Indoor Grand Prix, I would not sleep. I would not be surprised. So that's the women's 60-meter dash. A couple other races we want to just take a quick look at. We got the hurdles. On the men's side, we can go through this very quickly. This is also stacked, also has heats. This is the men's 60-meter hurdles. Couple guys, right? This is actually pretty stacked. Grant Holloway, of course, 3-time world champion, Olympic silver medalist. Daniel Roberts, world championship bronze medalist, finally got his medal, his first outdoor medal, and he's a 3-time USA champion in this 100-meter hurdles. But he's also a problem. Who else do we have? Trey Cunningham. Trey Cunningham has the world lead right now at 7.47 seconds, I think it is. Trey Cunningham, I think is at 7.47 seconds. So he's also going to be a problem. You also have Freddie Crittenden, right? Crittenden, he finished 4th place at the World Championships last year. So he's one to look out for. Cordell Tinch, he was the find of last year. Cordell Tinch, he didn't make the final at the World Championships, but he did make the USA team coming out of D2. He's run sub 13 outdoors. So he's going to be in this mix. We'll see how he kind of plays out. He's a very tall. He has a long leg, similar to Grant Holloway, but I don't know how well he'll do kind of with the 60-meter hurdles, but going to be a good race. Joshua Zeller, right? A couple other guys that are really in the mix. Michael Dixon, right? Orlando Bennett, man, from Jamaica. So a lot of these guys are really going to be in the mix. I really like this men's 60-meter hurdles. This should be very, very exciting this weekend. And then also the women's 60-meter hurdles. This is going to be a super competitive race. Guess who's in it? Just spoke about her, Toby Amusan. Toby Amusan is in this race. Excuse me. Guess who else is in it? Devin Charlton. The number one and the number 2 in the world this year in the 60-meter hurdles. We have Devin Charlton, 7.75 this year. We also have Toby Amusan, 7.77 this year. But then look at the rest of the field. Gabby Cunningham, she made the Olympic Games in 2021. I think she made the final there as well. Alacia Johnson, of course, she's one of the most consistent hurdlers that we've seen over the past couple of years. Tia Jones has been the one of the biggest finds coming out of high school, going directly to pro. She's been super dominant. Masai Russell, one of the best hurdlers that we've seen coming out of the NCAA, just went pro. Go check out her YouTube channel as she's, doing an amazing documentary, kind of documenting her, her progress in the hurdles and her life and all that. Cindy Sember, you can never forget about her. She actually finished 4th place at the Olympic Games in the 100-meter hurdles back in 2016. Megan Tapper is a bronze medalist from the 2021 Olympic Games. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If you can't appreciate these hurdles, these are fire. This women's hurdles is fire. And then we're gonna pull up to Milrose the week after, and we're gonna add Kenny Harrison. We're gonna add Nia Ali. We're gonna add a whole bunch of women. We're gonna add Daniel Williams, right? That is gonna be a stacked race, and a lot of these women are gonna be running the same back to back. Listen, women's hurdles is wild. Women's hurdles is wild. So huge shout out to them. Yeah, good point. AJT, Josh Zeller now trains with Trey Cunningham and Charisma Taylor. Interested to see what form he brings this year. Yeah, Josh Zeller has been, one of the big rising talents. He's always been like in the conversation, maybe not like making the teams, of course, not getting the medals yet, but if he's training with Trey and Trey already has a world lead, Trey has a silver medal from 2022, we know that, that's going to be some good group there. All right, so a couple other events. So that was the men's and women's 60-meter hurdles. Let's just quickly highlight the long jump. The men's long jump has, a decent field. This has some decent implications. Javon Harrison, it'll be interesting to see what Javon does, right? He only focused on the high jump last year, at least, when we got to World Championships. I don't know if he's going to double up going to the Olympics, just like he did in 2021, or if he's going to choose to focus on the high jump. But he's in the mix here. Jerrion Lawson, I just want you to remember, I know Jerrion Lawson was banned for some time, but because of I think it was like a tainted beef. I don't know what happened, but regardless, Jerrion Lawson, back in the day, he was the Bowerman winner. He actually won the 100, the 200, and the long jump at NCAA's, whichever year he was coming out of. Also, in 2016, he finished 4th place in the long jump at the Olympics. Jerrion Lawson is a serious threat if he's able to get things together. So definitely keep a lookout for Jerrion Lawson to really see if he's able to pull things out and put things together this year. Will Williams, shout out to Will Williams. People kind of sleep on him because he hasn't been like on the podiums, or he hasn't been jumping quote unquote the farthest times, or the farthest marks in the long jump. But Will Williams has made the past, is it 3 World Championship teams? I definitely know he was in Eugene 2022, and of course he was in Budapest last year. Will Williams, don't sleep on Will Williams. Very, very strong performer. Rayvon Gray also coming out of LSU, similar to Javon Harrison, but also Kerry McLeod. If I'm correct, let me double check this, but let me see. Budapest long jump men's. I think, was he the one who finished 4th place in Budapest? Kerry McLeod, 4th place in the men's long jump in Budapest. Yeah. Had to make sure I could double check. Don't sleep on Kerry McLeod. Coming out of the NCAA last year, now competing internationally. I mean, McLeod was 4th, right? Listen, this guy, and he just missed the podium by like inches, right? On countback. I think, Tajay Gale on the last jump, Tajay Gale got the bronze medal. Shout out to Tajay Gale, right? 2019 world champion, dealt with some injuries, now got back on the podium. But Kerry McLeod could win this whole thing, right? He could win this whole thing in New Balance, right? He could be a problem. Yeah, Kerry McLeod won NCAA indoors. I don't know if I know he won NCAA indoors last year. Yep, but I don't know if Kerry McLeod was the one who dived into the pit. I don't remember. Someone could double check that in the chat, but he could be. But man, don't sleep. And shout out to, I mean, I'm not Jamaican, but I do want to shout out Jamaica just because think like 10 years ago, what are we, 2014, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, right? 2009, you wouldn't have imagined Jamaica having depth across the board in the other events outside the sprints, right? The long jump, high jump, right? Triple jump, across the board. Of course, the hurdles, they've been really good in the hurdles for some years, but Jamaica is really building up some great talent. Again, you saw 2 Jamaicans on the podium at the World Championships in the long jump, almost winning gold, right? Tentaclu only got the gold medal in the last jump. So in the throws, right? In the shot put, man, they've been really stacking things up. So shout out to Jamaica. Again, I'm not Jamaican, but I definitely have to give respect where respect is due. So really, really amazing performances for them. Look out for the men's long jump. Women's long jump here is also going to be pretty stacked. You have Essa Brume, super consistent. 2019, 2022, 2020 or 2021 at the Olympics, and then 2022 indoors. So you have Essa Brume, who's one of the most dominant long jumpers over the past couple decades. I'm sorry, over the past couple years, not decades, over the past couple years. Quanisha Burks just got the world lead in the long jump at 6.5, Let me double check. I think it was 6.56 meters. I was actually just up at the Armory this past weekend and saw Quenisha Burks jump. Oh, no, wait, maybe not. Okay, I completely missed that. Maybe it was a world lead for like a moment, but or maybe it didn't come up. I don't know. But Quenisha Burks, maybe it wasn't the world lead. Apologies. It was a meet record at the Armory. I don't know what I was talking about, but Quenisha Burks, 6.54 meters that she just jumped, but she's going to be in the mix. Tara Davis Woodhall, apologies. Of course, she got a medal last year at the World Championships. She is very much in the mix. And then Laquan Narin, very, very strong performer. And then Ruth Usoro coming out of Texas Tech, representing Nigeria. This is a very, very good long jump field. So looking forward to the women's long jump there. And then real quick, I know we have the women's 300. Look at this women's 300 meter field. Talitha Diggs, Gabby Thomas, Favor O'Feely, Lena Irby-Jackson. Like, this is a crazy, crazy field. Talitha Diggs, 2023 NCAA champion in the 400 meters. Oh, I'm sorry, 2022 NCAA champion in the 400, 2022 USA champion in the 400. And of course, she's run sub 50 seconds a couple times already, made the world championship team in 2022 and last year. And I think she made the world championship final. She was the only American to make the final last year as well. She just made it on time. Let me double check that for Talitha Diggs. Yep, Talitha Diggs, though she finished last place, no worries. She made the final. So huge shout outs to Talitha Diggs and what she was able to do, but she's in the field. Gabby Thomas. I spoke about Gabby Thomas. If you haven't seen the video that I dropped, I'm assuming all of y'all have seen it. If you haven't, after this is done, go check it out. Gabby Thomas, she of course opened up her season running the 60-meter dash, but she always runs the 300 meters here in New Balance. So we'll see what she does. I feel like Gabby Thomas should be a lot faster in the 300, or she should run much faster. Let me just pull up the all-time marks in the 300 for the women. Let's see. Interesting. This is not correct. Oh, no, this is Africa. Sorry about that. Let me get the world all-time marks. Still had on Africa. Yeah. So, yeah, Gabby Thomas, 35.73. I feel like Gabby Thomas has the potential to break the world record. If we really put things in perspective, when Gabby Thomas has run 11 flat in the 100, 21.60 in the 200, and 49.48 in the 400, or 49.68, she should really have a much faster 300 meter personal best. I mean, yeah, I agree. I think that Gabby should be able to get that world record in the 300, but I don't know if she's going for it. I really don't know. I don't know if she's going for it. It might be interesting. Yes, if you're in the show, if you're watching, hit the like button. Appreciate everyone who's in here. Make sure you hit the like just so more people can not only see this, but then also, gain more traction on my channel and all that. But yeah, we'll see if Gabby actually is going for the record, but she is in this 300 meter here. Favor O'Feely. I'm not even sure if Favor O'Feely has ever run the 300 meters indoors, but for her to be in this 300 meter dash, this is her first race in 2024 as a professional, or she might have opened up already. I apologize about that. But regardless, this is her first race in a big, big professional meet. Listen, Favor O'Feely is going to be a problem. Let's not sleep on the fact that she got injured. I think she got injured last year during the outdoor season. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she got injured during the outdoor season, wasn't able to do well at NCAAs, but she dominated indoors before Julian Alfred kind of came around, right? Let's not sleep on the fact that Favor O'Feely was a force in the 200. Let's not sleep on the fact that Favor O'Feely was the first NCAA athlete to ever break 22 seconds, right? Before Abby Steiner had done it. Now, let's be clear. Abby Steiner did, of course, go on to dominate and all that, but Favor O'Feely ran 21.9 first. So just to at least show her potential and, what she's capable of. And then Lena Irby-Jackson. Never forget, 2019 NCAA championships. Lena Irby-Jackson won the 400 meter dash at the NCAAs. Yeah, I think it was 2019. 2019 or 2018, I forget, apologies, but NCAA champion. She's made the world championship team last year. I think she made it in 2022 as well. So Lena Irby-Jackson has been one of the most consistent 400 meter runners that the United States has seen. Yes, she doesn't have the super, super fast times, but she's a force to be reckoned with. Really looking forward to seeing what Lena Irby-Jackson does. And I think she just set a 16 meter personal best last weekend or 2 weeks ago at Texas Tech. So She's one to definitely look out for. This women's 300 is stacked. I low-key wish there was a men's 300 so that like Noah Lyles or Fred, actually Noah Lyles versus Fred Curley in the 300. I mean, listen, that would be crazy. But regardless, so last two that I did want to highlight, we have the men's 400. This will be pretty decent. I mean, Champion Allison, he was injured all last year, so we haven't been able to see him run in a while. So it'll be interesting to see, what Champion Allison does. Also, Champion Allison, he changed coaches, so he no longer is at Florida under Mike Holloway with that whole Florida crew, but he's actually training in Texas with Vince Anderson. And there's a couple other groups, like a couple other people in that group, like Courtney Okolo, Josephus Lyles, and a couple other people. So Champion Allison is in that group now, so hopefully he's healthy. Elijah Godwin last year, he ran 44.7 indoors. He opened up his season already, and I think he ran 47 seconds or something like that, or 48 seconds, something kind of strange. That's the same meet that Noah Lyles ran the 60 meters in. So I don't know, but Elijah Godwin, he's in the mix. Zach Nene, don't sleep on Zach Nene. This guy has been making some huge waves outdoors for South Africa. There was a time last year where I thought that South Africa could have a good 4x4 team. They didn't qualify for the World Championships, but Zach Nene has been making some waves. He's one to look out for. Of course, Vernon Norwood finished 4th place at the World Championships last year. And then Dream Richards. Man, I'm always going to shout out Dream Richards because he has so much potential. One of the best 200-meter runners in the world. But let's not forget, Dream Richards is the reigning world indoor champion in the 400-meter dash. So he's run, 45 seconds flat. He could dominate if he chooses to run indoors. He got injured last year, right? And didn't make the World Championship final in the 400. But if he chooses to run a full indoor season, Dream Richards can mess around and win gold in the 400 once again. Who knows? Dream Richards is not one to sleep on. So, and if you haven't seen it, check out the video that I did on Dream Richards and kind of highlighting his career. But shout out to the men's 400. And then last one, just wanted to highlight, I think there's a women's 400. This is a pretty good field for the most part, pretty decent field. Raven Rogers, of course, competes in the 800, but opening up her season with a 400. Kendall Ellis is, one of the great 400-meter runners that the USA has had over the past couple of years. She made the 2017 World Championship team. She made the 2019 World Championship team, the 2022 World Championship team, and then she just finished 4th at the Olympic trials and didn't make that team, but, she got medals on the relay. So Kendall Ellis is not one to sleep on. Lisanne DeWitt, she competes for the Netherlands. She's been part of their 4x4s for, many, many years. Nicole Jurgen, she's been part of the Great Britain's 4x4s for many years as well. And Janelle Broomfield, of course, many know her as Noah Lyles' girlfriend, but competing for Jamaica, she has medals as part of their 4x4. So there's a pretty decent women's 400-meter field at New Balance. But yeah, so that's a quick preview of the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix, just of the sprints, jumps, and the hurdles, of course. Again, check out Citius Mag. I'm going to be doing interviews for them at when we get to Boston, and then also some more content for them as well. So definitely check them out. But yeah, let me know what you kind of think of this meet. And if, I don't know, maybe if there's questions y'all want me to ask some of these athletes. I'm going to be there for a couple days, so I'm going to be interacting with athletes on different occasions. So let me know what if there's anything you want to ask one of the athletes who's competing. Maybe there's something I can get to them. But yeah, more 300s, man. If people are going to run indoors, run more 300s. Like at the end of the day, just run more 300s. They're fun. It's low stakes. It's like, come on. I want to see some of these records go down. Shawnee Miller-Weibo ran the world record, equaled it, but I love to see that, right? I love to see records actually go down. But yeah, we'll see some of these 300s hopefully going into the future. But all right, so it's pretty much all I had. I know we've been going for over an hour at this point. I'm going to probably close things out. Excited to dive into, again, this weekend, going to be at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. This is the first, in my opinion, big professional meet that's going to be happening. Shout out to, all the athletes that are going to be competing. Shout out to, everyone who's going to be competing at New Balance, everyone who's going to be competing at Millrose. We have a couple different meets going on back to back to back over the next couple weeks. Whether it's the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix, then you have Millrose. You also have a lot of meets in Europe that are going to be going down. Like I said, like we spoke about Femke Bowl, she's going to be competing at various different meets. And then we got the World Indoor Championships. Those are going to be happening in a couple weeks as well. I'm going to be in Glasgow, Scotland for the World Indoor Championships after going to a lot of these meets. And then, of course, NCAA's is going to be going down after that. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be at all these meets, getting coverage, getting interviews. And yeah, let me know if there's like stuff that y'all want to see from these meets. I'm gonna be trying to get some behind the scenes content and some like just content, kind of like me as someone in the media and like kind of highlighting, how I kind of navigate and how things kind of work in those different aspects. But definitely let me know what y'all think, and always appreciate y'all for showing up. Always appreciate y'all for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to like this stream. Be sure to check out some of the other videos that I've already done on the channel. But yeah, always appreciate y'all. And yeah, we'll be back again next week on Tuesday for another live, The Exchange. Appreciate it.